The sport's sponsored by Anderson Plumbing, Heating, and Air. The Padres are back tonight against the Arizona Diamondbacks after the Dodgers wrapped up the NL West with an 8-0 shutout of the Arizona Diamondbacks yesterday. That game will be going at 6:40. Padres will be going with Yu Darvish on the mound, while Zach Gallen will be going for Arizona. The Padres currently minus 145 on the money line. The San Diego State Aztecs are heading to Northern Illinois to take on the Huskies tomorrow. That game will be going at 12:30. You can hear Fletch and Jared Tolver on the pregame. The Aztecs are currently 2.5-point favorites in that one. Need HVAC this month? Get 0% for 18 months on a new system. Schedule your free proposal at AndersonPHA.com. Anderson, fast and reliable.
Welcome to the Fletch Zone.
No fluff, just facts.
NFL Week 4 begins with more late-game magic.
Michael Dixon puts it down. Jason Myers, the kick is on the way. And the kick is up. And the kick is good. And the Seahawks win the game.
A recap and a look ahead to Sunday's action. And the Padres finish up the regular season versus the D-backs at Petco. We take a look at how October is shaping up. Plus, the Aztecs look to continue their momentum versus Northern Illinois.
Misdirection, Napier, blocker in front. Napier near the goal line. He is in for the touchdown. Jordan Napier.
And SDFC's last home game of the regular season happens at Snapdragon. And no, we're not going to go after Sammy's picks. At least not until Monday. Kicking off the weekend right in the Fletch Zone.
Oh, let's get it going on a freaking Friday. What's going on, everybody? Ben Fletcher, Sammy Long. We're with you till 2 o'clock today. John and Jim will take over then. And I don't really know what Big Voice Guy is talking about because my account is looking a little better today after it was yesterday. Congratulations to Sammy Long winning a long shots for us all. Drop a thank you, Sammy, in the YouTube
Tyler
chat.
already said LFG. Thanks, Sammy. We're getting on the right track. Love nice little Thursday night, same game parlay winner. Feeling good heading into the weekend.
Hot streak start with just one. So we're heading into the weekend on a hot streak. That's what I would say. It is San Diego Sports 760. We are with you for a couple hours here. Steve Hartman's going to be stopping by the show today. We'll have another SDFC guest coming up in the 1 o'clock hour. It's going to be a party here on a Friday. So strap in, get ready, because we got a lot going on this weekend, including the Padres' final home series at Petco Park of the regular season. Potentially the final of the year if things don't go well in the postseason, but let's not put that out into the universe. As of right now, it stands the Padres need to essentially win out. The Cubs essentially need to lose out. There's a few different scenarios for the Padres to flip the wild card round at Petco Park, but it's not looking super likely. If the Padres lose today, if the Cubs win today, it will for sure be at Wrigley Field for the opening round of the wild card. NFL Week 4 kicked off last night with a very good Thursday night football game, or should I say a very good final 7 minutes of a Thursday night football game.
You said that right. I don't think I've ever seen a game so bad for the first 3 quarters that was electric in the final 7 minutes of that game.
It was a fantastic finish. We'll get into it in just a little bit. San Diego State, like Sammy said in his update, are going to be heading out to Northern Illinois. In fact, the boys are already on their way there. They may be landing pretty soon here in Chicago area as they get ready for their game against NIU, who cannot be taken lightly, man. This is a team that last year beat Notre Dame. This is a team so far this year that has struggled, but we've seen San Diego State on the road in only one performance, and they looked a lot worse on the road than they have at Snapdragon Stadium. So hopefully San Diego State is going in with the right attitude. We had a long shots winner last night. Thank you, Sammy. We all have money today because of Sammy. Sammy's heading to Vegas right after the show today. Oh, man.
Yeah, had to get the pocketbooks feeling good for the weekend.
Ooh, it's going to be drama. Steve Hartman at 12:30 today, by the way. He's usually here at 1:30. Let's start off with these Padres, though, Sammy. You and I talked for probably 30 minutes before the show, going back and forth about what we would do over the next 3 games. Now, tonight could either make decisions a lot easier or a lot harder for the Padres coaching staff and AJ Preller, but we laid it out. Padres lose today, Cubs win today, series for sure at Wrigley Field. And oddly, I think that might make everyone's decisions a lot easier if that was how it played out, because then for sure, you're not blowing any of your 18 bullpen. You're probably resting Manny. We'll see. Fernando needs to get some work in over the next few days, but you're resting people if that plays out. But say the Padres win and the Cubs lose today. Are you still going full throttle, knowing the chances still aren't really in your favor to host a postseason series, which I think we all agree it's important that the Padres try to host the postseason at Petco Park for at least the first round. That gives you much better odds to move on to the NLDS. But I don't know what I'm doing tonight if I'm Mike Shildt. I don't know if I'm still going full A team knowing that it's really, really not likely for you to host those games at Petco Park. What would you do, Sammy?
Well, I'm with you on that. So the one nice thing the Padres have is that the Cubs are playing right now. So they are currently up 1-0 over the Cardinals, their bitter rival, in the fourth inning. So obviously only a 1-run deficit or lead, but we'll see what happens there. I'm with you. I think the bullpen needs to be, regardless of what happens, not used. The only way I'm going with the Ace bullpen is if it is literally we're sitting here on Sunday and they have a shot to jump them and host it at home, then I think you throw everyone out there trying to do it. I'm with you on Fernando needs to get some work after being sick, but outside of that, like unless your starters in your bats can get going, I would not burn the bullpen because we know the formula for the Padres to win in the postseason goes entirely through their bullpen. That's the thing that if you believe in the San Diego Padres to go far in the MLB postseason, it's likely because you think the bullpen is better than everyone else's, which I think is a fair thing. I think they are better than almost every team's bullpen, and maybe they're the best in the MLB. But taxing those arms, we've seen Jeremiah Estrada, we've seen Adrian Morejon the other day give up a run each. They've been kind of tired recently. You've seen the workload have to go up ever since the Jason Adam injury. I would get David Morgan some work after being called up again. Rodriguez, I get some of those guys who are probably going to be playing in the postseason, but I would stay away from your Mason Millers, your Suarez, your guys like that. They've done enough all season. I'd rest them for next week.
All right, we'll get back to the Padres in a little bit. Let's get some big three action going right now. I will say today is going to be Distracted Radio 101. I got right above me right now the Ryder Cup action going on. My speech did absolutely nothing, Sammy. I put a lot of heart, a lot of soul, a lot of effort.
Maybe we need another one today.
I don't know if I can do the same thing. If anybody was watching any of the morning action in the Ryder Cup, Europe kicked our ass. It was an embarrassment what the Americans were doing. And so far in the afternoon, Rory McIlroy, who can't make a putt to save his life in, I don't know, any sort of big tournaments or anything, is sinking 30-footers out here in the afternoon.
This is embarrassing so far. They're in New York. They need to get it together. This thing better not be over. So by tomorrow or something, we want to see this going into Sunday. Yes, everyone besides Scotty Scheffler needs to get it together on the American side.
And Scotty's not playing well either. He got his ass kicked this morning. He's now all of a sudden over the last 5 holes, he's getting his ass kicked again right now. Bryson DeChambeau's playing okay. Justin Thomas is playing phenomenal.
Real quick, I want to ask you though, because you're very tapped in the golf world. Like, look at these pairings. So Rahm's playing Straka right now. Scheffler Spawn. Fleetwood's and Rose are playing Griffin DeChambeau. Aberg, Hojgaard, I can't say that.
Ludwig Aberg.
Aberg is playing Young and Thomas. McIlroy and Lowry are playing Burns and Cantley. Where do we have an advantage of those 4 pairings? Like, where is the matchup that you're like, if we lose this, it's over? Because that was supposed to be the ace.
If I was Keegan Bradley, the captain of Team USA, and he's had now Scheffler playing against Rahm in each of the morning and the afternoon session today. I'm not doing that. I'm not wasting our best against Jon Rahm, who always plays up in the Ryder Cup. Jon Rahm hasn't been the same Jon Rahm over the last couple of years since he went to Live Golf. But Jon Rahm in the Ryder Cup is one of the most elite Ryder Cup players ever. I don't know that I'm putting Scheffler against Rahm ever because you're taking away a guaranteed win if Scheffler was somewhere else. I almost burn a team against whoever Jon Rahm is playing against to stack up a team later on. And I think this morning, the morning session showed you can't just throw Scheffler with the scrub on the U.S. team. You need to put him with a guy like J.J. Spawn, but J.J. Spawn and Scotty Scheffler aren't playing very well. So it's frustrating today is what I'll say. We need a turn of the tide. You know, if you're like at a craps table, and all of a sudden you see somebody who they throw and it bounces out or something. All
like us at Circa?
Yeah, the vibes are off a little bit. You're like, oh, the next throw is going to be a 7. I know that. Time to get my money off the table. I feel like Keegan needs to have some sort of turn of the tide.
Yeah.
He needs to get ace throwing all of a sudden. I'm not happy with how the Ryder Cup started. All right, Sammy, let's get to the big 3. Let's enough wasting time on golf. People don't really care about it, unfortunately. Go ahead and smash it.
Your lunch break is here. Ready to go back to the office and knock the socks off your friends? I mean, coworkers? It's time for the top stories of the day. The Big 3.
I seriously cannot believe Rory McIlroy is making every putt known to mankind right now. It's really frustrating.
Yeah, it seems like the Europeans are taking this seriously and the Americans are just like waiting to wake up.
Yeah, are we sleepwalking? What's going on here? All right. If you want to watch the show, a couple ways for you to do it on YouTube at San Diego Sports 760, on X at Fletch and Sammy. You can always text the show 70470. Start your message with team. We'd love to hear from you today. If you are as frustrated as I am with the Americans so far in the Ryder Cup, let your feelings be heard on the text line. Sammy, where are we going with the big 3?
All right, let's start in Thursday Night Football last night. So for those who didn't watch the game, Seahawks kick a game-winning field goal, beat the Cardinals if the Cardinals come back down 20-6. Now, there was kind of an underrated part of that game is that with the new kickoff, if you don't kick the ball into the landing zone, which starts at the 30-yard line, 30-yard line, yes.
It was the 20.
Oh, excuse me.
I think it's 20 to goal line.
Excuse me. That was getting the where it comes out to. Then if you don't kick it, if you kick it before the 20, the other team gets the ball at the 40. So the underrated part of last night, Chad Ryland, the kicker for the Arizona Cardinals, doesn't kick it in the landing zone. They get a 5-yard penalty. Seattle gets the ball at the 40-yard line. Darnold gets a big deep shot. Jackson Smith and Jigba, and the rest is history. They walk it off. Do you like the new kickoff in the whole landing zone and how that works?
No, and I think the 40 is too punitive. I like that we're seeing more kickoff returns, but it doesn't quite look like football yet. And maybe we'll adjust, or maybe this is one of those things where the NFL makes the rule change and then immediately flip it back the next season because it's not working. But I don't think games should be decided on it. And last night, this game was decided. That had everything made out to be an overtime matchup between these two teams. But then all of a sudden, the ball gets bumped out to the 40. It takes one pass to get into field goal range. That's exactly what the Seahawks did. So instead of having some big, huge, dramatic moment where it's like Sam Darnold needs to complete 3 or 4 in a row, it was one pass. One pass gets them into field goal range. Then they're able to have a little run, and then the field goal is super makeable for whatever his name is, the kicker for Seattle. So I don't think we've seen a game yet decided by the new kickoff rules. And last night, a game was decided by it. And I think that's the kind of red flag for the NFL to go, ooh, maybe we made a little mistake on this one.
I like the fact that they're encouraging kickoff returns because when they were talking about, because of all the concussions, getting rid of special teams, that's a bummer because special teams is a underrated part of the sport that doesn't get enough love. And teams that win the Super Bowl, teams that go to the Super Bowl, they usually have pretty damn good special teams. But that is too far. I'm with you on that. Going to the 40-yard line for not kicking it in the landing zone is insane to me.
And the ball missed the landing zone by, what, a foot?
But literally, it was almost there. And again, I get it that you're incentivizing kickoffs, but I don't even like the ball coming out to the 35.
Yeah.
I think it's especially with how kickers are kicking now. It used to be 10 years ago, 15 years ago, if someone kicked a 50-yard field goal, it was like, oh, wow, that's impressive. Now, that's expected. Like, if you're missing a 50 to 53-yard field goal, you could be looking for a job next week. I mean, we got Brandon Aubrey hitting 63-yarders, so the kickers are kicking farther than ever, and then you're shrinking the field farther than that because of the new kickoff rule. I think it's counterintuitive. I think they need to fix that. They should not get to the 40-yard line because of a penalty like that. All right, Sunday Night Football, the big matchup. Micah Parsons returning home to Dallas. Jerry Jones already said there will not be a pregame tribute for Micah, and he said this on Dallas radio this morning. Some plays it looks beautiful, but then other plays, especially running plays, you wish you had a different formation. To be trite, we lost games with Micah. What do you make of Jerry Jones' comments? Do you think this is fair, or do you think Jerry is being Jerry?
Sammy, you are a Caleb Williams fan. Yes, you really like him.
I do like Caleb Williams.
Caleb Williams, throughout his entire career in the NFL, has never looked better than he looked a week ago against the Dallas Cowboys.
Saved his career.
Are you telling me it doesn't look a little bit different if you have Micah Parsons, who is all world, on your defense for the Dallas Cowboys? Jerry is doubling down on stupid, and I don't really understand why. All he's doing right now is giving Micah Parsons more incentive to go beat the crap out of Dak Prescott, and I fully expect and hope that's what Micah Parsons does. It's hard for me to ever in my life be a Packers fan. I'm a Packers fan this weekend. Go kick the crap out of Dallas.
Jerry, man, it's just, why are you saying this? Like, Jerry,
there's no need.
There's no need for this. Jerry could have handled the press conference like this. We love Micah Parsons. He's a fantastic player. Unfortunately, we couldn't come to a contract agreement, and we wanted to stock load picks because we want our defense to get better as a whole versus just having stars and Parsons and Trayvon Diggs and Jerome Bland and then a lot of whatever nobodies on the rest of the defense. But Jerry can't do that because Jerry has to be in the middle of the media. I mean, you have Micah Parsons saying this week about how Dak Prescott, it's going to hurt him to sack him because Dak Prescott is like a mentor, like a brother to him. And then you got, like, why are you trashing Mike on the way out of town? You already traded a generational superstar. Your defense has not been good. It's been awful.
Which I don't hate the trade, if I'm being completely honest. It needed to happen 6 months prior if you were going to do it. But I don't hate getting Micah Parsons out. It was going to be tough to win with 4 guys taking up all your money.
Right, but the problem is not that they traded Micah Parsons. It's that you traded Micah Parsons, then went to the press conference and said, hey, we got Kenny Clark. I mean, guess what? We might not have the best pass rushers in the NFL, but we're going to stop the run. And you can't stop the run. You can't get to the quarterback. he should have went to the press conference and said, I know we're going to take a step back on defense probably this year, but this is for the future. But now he's talking like this year, I expect a highly motivated Michael Parsons. That's going to be must-watch TV on Sunday night to see what happens there.
Can't wait for it. You got one more we could squeeze in?
Let's go. So let's go to the college football. Big matchup tomorrow. San Diego State, Northern Illinois. Aztecs 2.5-point favorites on the road. Early kick at 12:30. Fletch, what's your number one key to the game for tomorrow for the Aztecs?
Show up to play. Look, we have seen two different iterations of the San Diego State Aztecs so far. We've seen the team that's played at Snapdragon. It's been very good. They have not allowed a point. That defense has been electric. We even broke through the turnover dam last week when they played against Cal. But that team that went up to Washington State, if they show up at any other point this season, it's going to be a loss for San Diego State. It was a lack of focus. It was a lack of execution. Sean Lewis has talked about it a lot. It was poor coaching as well. So you look at the team that's traveling to go play Northern Illinois, this would be a bigger spread had we not seen what this team was capable of in Washington State. This is a game the Aztecs absolutely can win, but not if it's that team from the second week of the season. I want them to see a very focused San Diego State team with the defense flying around, being assignment sound, actually tackling and not just letting guys slip through your arms. San Diego State has a lot of pressure on them this weekend to show that they can be the team that they are at home on the road. And this isn't exactly an easy travel either. It's also a weird week. You're playing earlier than you normally would. So for San Diego State, I'm looking to see that team who's been playing at Snapdragon Stadium and not whatever that was that happened at Washington State.
I agree with you on the spread. I think Northern Illinois is getting respect, number one, because they're going across the country. Number two, the Aztecs team, you don't know what you're getting. Is it the Washington State team or is it the Cal team? Because the Cal team looks like it could be really good. The Washington State team, that game left a lot to be desired. And then last year, there's probably some remaining money of Northern Illinois being plus 2.5 at home. They beat Notre Dame last year, so there's probably that kind of lingering effects in terms of the gambling market. Yes, I want to see the offense really get it going because last week, despite the big win at Cal, and we want to praise them, that was a fantastic performance. The defense did have multiple defensive touchdowns, which is great, but you can't rely on that every week. You want to see the offense get going early, which they did last week. They had a big touchdown right out of the gates there for the Aztecs, but like to see the Aztecs get going on the road and let the defense do the rest of the work in the second half.
Now, Northern Illinois, very different team this year than they were last year. Transfer portal attacked a team that beat Notre Dame a year ago, which you would expect the transfer portal to do, but they beat Holy Cross in their opener this year, 19-17. They lose to Maryland 20-9. They lose to Mississippi State 38-10. So this is a game San Diego State, as Vegas is telling you, should go on the road and win. And that's what I would expect out of this team. Hopefully we see a good performance from the Aztecs. All right, quick break here. Let's talk a little more Padres on the other side as they get ready for this final regular season series against the D-backs. What do we need to see from this team to feel good about them heading into the postseason? Let's talk about it next. San Diego Sports 760, live on the iHeartRadio app. And San Diego Sports 760, Ben Fletcher, Sammy Long. We're with you until 2 o'clock today. John and Jim will take over then. And San Diego Sports 760 starting Monday. We got 13 chances every single day for you to win $1,000 with the bonus bucks giveaway every hour from 6 to 5. Beginning Monday, September 29th. Listen for the keyword, enter it at sportssd.com. $1,000 in your pocket starting Monday at 6. All right, we got this one little story out of the NFL before we get to the Padres. Did you see that Aaron Rodgers is talking in the media and he's pissed off that the Steelers waited so long to travel to Ireland for their game against the Vikings this weekend, the first
Why is
international.
that not shocking?
Yeah, so they landed earlier today. And so that gives them all of today as well as tomorrow and then the beginning, I guess, of Sunday to get ready for this game. I do get it from Aaron Rodgers' point of view that it would have been a little bit nicer to fly in earlier in the week, but he was asking for them to like fly in on Monday because he wanted to have at least an off day or two in Ireland.
I think we know why he wants to go to Ireland early.
Hola, mommy.
Oh, you think Aaron Rodgers is trying to get him some
I think Aaron Rodgers wants a little night out on the town before they have to play the Vikings.
a little Guinness soaked hottie? That's what you're thinking about. I get it. Look, can you blame him? I don't know if I can.
No, I'm not getting after him. I just, Aaron Rodgers, I guess, doesn't own the team anymore like he did in Green Bay.
But he's literally asking to come in 5 days earlier than the Steelers ended up flying into Ireland. And he said he wanted to get out, see some things. It's a beautiful country, it seems like from pictures, but he's not going to be able to experience it because he flew in so late. Aaron.
That's a weird game for me. I thought about picking I kind of think the Steelers are going to win that game. But it's like I feel like people are way too much on the Vikings because of how they played last week. And I got to give the Vikings credit. Wentz looked good. The Vikings team certainly rebounded, but they were playing the worst defense in the NFL.
Aaron Rodgers has made over $381 million in his career. I think he can go to a vacation in Ireland in the offseason.
Like he could go. He could
just
go to Ireland in the offseason.
Yeah, it's funny comments from me. All right, Padres 3-game set against the D-backs at home. It's the final homestand of the regular season for the Padres, who still have an opportunity to get to 90 wins on the year, by the way, which would be cool to see if you're a Padres fan and you like moral victories. But what do you need to see this weekend to make you feel a little bit better about the Padres heading into Chicago for the wild card round? Like we got this text from the 858. Can't believe after this long season, we're going to be swept out of the postseason by two lefties that throw 92 miles per hour. Like that's a rough sentiment to have, but I feel like a lot of Padres fans are thinking that way right now.
Well, it's we've heard for months now, and everyone in San Diego has been talking about it. Well, this team can get it together, and Manny and Tatis, and they're going to get back to the 14-3 start to the season, which could happen, yes. But we're at the point now where they have 3 games left, and it's nut cutting time. I mean, there's no other way around it. There's no more.
Define nut cutting time, please. That sounds good.
What was wrong? It's a phrase.
That's cool.
It's nut cutting time.
I don't know that I've ever heard it before.
Like nuts and bolts. You don't have time to mess around. Like they're going up against 2 elite left-handed pitchers, which is a real thing. The Padres have struggled mightily on the road, 1-11 in series so far this year, above teams 500 on the road, and then they've struggled with left-handed pitching. So can they turn around at the blink of an eye? Yes, but it's getting a little hard to wrap your head around the fact that, like, we all thought a month ago, we're like, Manny will snap out of it. 2 weeks ago, we're talking about Manny will snap out of it. Manny hasn't snapped out of it, and honestly, I don't think he's ever looked worse. And he's hit a career .210 in the postseason. So if we're going off history, Manny's struggles have come in the postseason. Tatis was getting hot before he got sick, so that's a little bit of a bonus there heading into next week. But this bullpen's the starting pitching staff has to be better. The bats have to be better. And frankly, unfortunately, you have to rely on the bullpen probably a little bit too much in the first round series.
And you're going to need a little bit of luck and a little bit of hope, which are great strategies heading into the postseason. Look, nobody ever feels great heading into Major League Baseball's postseason because of the nature of the beast, but it would be nice if you felt at least a little more confident about the Padres heading into the postseason. All right, Steve Hartman is going to join us early today. He usually is on at 1:30. We got a scheduling conflict, so he's going to jump on coming up next. San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app.
This report is sponsored by Dell Technologies. The Cubs right now are actually up on the Cardinals 4-0 at the end of the fifth. The Cubs need to lose out The Cubs need to lose 2 or 3, and the Padres need to win out to pass them for the wild card. The Padres will be hosting the Diamondbacks tonight at 6:40. Yu Darvish will be on the mound for the Pods, while Arizona will be going with their ace Zach Gallen. The Sunday Night Football matchup of the week: Micah Parsons making his return to Dallas in the Cowboys with the Green Bay Packers. Green Bay is currently a 7.5-point favorite. And Jerry Jones said he would not be doing a ceremony for Micah Parsons before the game. The new Dell AI PC with Intel Core Ultra helps you fast forward through busy work like editing images, summarizing meeting notes, and responding to Jim Long's emails, leaving more time for you time. Get yours at Dell.com/AIPC.
San Diego Sports 760. You just heard it in Sammy's update. Cubbies taking a big lead. Pete Crow Armstrong just hit a 2-run bomb for the Cubs. So our buddy Rich on YouTube saying PCA just ruined our weekend 2-run bomb. Looks like Petco wildcard tickets are all going to be refunded. It's not over yet, Rich. Have a positive attitude one time, man. We can't take negativity on a Friday.
Rich is a realist.
Speaking of not taking negativity on a Friday, that's why every Friday we end our week with an absolute bang. His name is Steve Hartman. He's done more hours of radio just about anyone on the planet Earth. And how about this? Future Southern California Broadcasting Hall of Famer Steve Hartman. Welcome to the show, my friend. Congratulations.
Fletch, Sammy, you know, I am still in a state of disbelief. Of course, Rich was the one that broke the news to me. Opening up my Sunday national show, pot on Pete Arbogast, who's the president of the Southern California Sports Broadcasters Association, to notify me that indeed I will be part of the Hall of Fame class of 2026. But I found out a little insight. I was always considered right on the cusp, and what put me over the top was my weekly conversations with Fletch and Sammy. That was the clincher that finally put me over the top. So I want to thank you guys for giving me that little extra boost to finally get into the Hall of Fame.
You know, I am curious, Steve, is there going to be a ceremony? Are you buying a table for this thing? I mean, I know you've had a million different partners in your radio career, but you and I did do mornings with just each other for about a year and a half on a show that had no
we did.
name.
Well, it's at Lakeside Country Club, which is in Burbank, right across from Warner Brothers Studios. That's where it's always been for many, 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 many years. And it's coming up on January 13th. So, I mean, we got several months to go before then. But believe me, guys, everyone, I could fill that room just with people that I've hosted shows with quite easily. So if you guys are available, obviously I'm going to do my best to get as many people there as possible. Again, it's a phenomenal honor. I mean, there's no doubt about that. Obviously, I've been a member of this organization for many, many years, and thought, well, I mean, Hall of Fame doesn't seem likely because most of the Hall of Famers are famous play-by-play people like Vince Scully and Chick Hearn and Bob Miller and people like that, Dick Enberg, or they're people that are main sports anchors on television, Jim Hill, Fred Rogan, people like that. So what I'm hoping for, and one of the things I will be calling for, is more recognitions for those in San Diego. Ted Leitner, I know, was one of the semifinalists. Ted belongs in the Hall of Fame. Hacksaw belongs in the Hall of Fame. All these people belong in the Hall of Fame. And if it's going to be called Southern California, that needs to include San Diego.
I love it. So here's the plan. Me, Ernie Martinez, Sammy Long, Brent Sperry, Rich Ornberger. Hell, we'll get Mark Willard to fly down. John Schaefer, we're all going to tailgate this event, just sending flumes of barbecue smoke into the air with just dozens of coolers of Coors Light, and it's going to be a party. Sammy, what do you got for Steve?
Steve, well, first off, no one more deserving. Fletch and I love you, people of San Diego. So proud of you. And flipping to baseball, Dodgers win the NL West. Padres looking like they'll be going to Chicago in the wild card. How are you feeling about the NL AL kind of picture right now? What are your thinkings for the playoffs, and what do you think about the Dodgers and Padres specifically?
Well, I mean, again, guys, I think we've talked about this over the last several weeks. I don't think there's any clear favorite. I mean, when you think about the monumental collapse this year, both the Detroit Tigers and the New York Mets, who both may still sneak into the playoffs. I mean, the Tigers had a 15-game lead over Cleveland. 15. No team has ever been that far down and come back and taken a division title. So Cleveland on the cusp there. And obviously the Mets are trying to hang on to sheer desperation for a first-round matchup against the Dodgers. Look, anybody can win. Anybody. I don't think home field means anything. The fact that the Padres have to open at Wrigley, so what? I mean, I don't think that the home field advantage, and we've seen this year after year after year in baseball, really is meaningless. The team that has the best pitching ultimately is going to win. I mean, the Dodgers are ridiculous. I mean, their starting pitching since the All-Star break's been the best in baseball, and their bullpen's been the worst. I mean, what happened to Shohei Ohtani the other day was just a prime example, right? Dominant pitching performance, comes out after 6 innings, and the bullpen completely costs it up. So there's no rhyme or reason to it. Whose ever team, most likely more from the bullpen side than the starting side, that catches fire in the postseason ultimately is going to win the World Series.
See, you say that, but the Padres have just been bad on the road against good postseason teams. So we'll see how they can do at Wrigley if that is indeed the case of where they end up. There's still some sort of miracle scenario where the Padres end up hosting the Cubs, but albeit not likely. Now, Steve, I know you, like myself, Ryder Cup is do or die on every single shot, every single putt, every single everything. And Europe is kicking our ass, Steve. Can you give some inspiration to Team USA here as we head down the stretch of the Friday afternoon?
Well, it's not over yet, guys. I mean, obviously losing the first 3 matches, and not just losing, I mean, getting drummed in the first 3 matches was an inauspicious start. Give it a couple of days. Let's see where we hang. I mean, obviously, if they're, 6 points down, going into singles day, most likely there's no way they're going to come back and win it. So it's been a bad day. It's not over yet, obviously, but look, I mean, here is the difference. Understand this. For instance, even though the players don't get paid, the U.S. players actually get a stipend of like $200,000 each. So they do get paid. The Europeans don't. And the Europeans, this is everything to them. When you look back on Tiger Woods' dominance, even at the height of his career, he was never a great Ryder Cup player. And that's because the U.S. players, golf's an individual sport. And U.S. golfers think on an individual basis. They don't do that in Europe. They have more camaraderie. It's been that way since they opened up the entire European continent to compete against the United States in the Ryder Cup. And that's why Europe has dominated over the years. But this will be brutal. I mean, the fact is that the U.S. has won the last 2 times. The Ryder Cup was on U.S. soil. It's at Bethpage. I mean, there's a lot of hype up for the New York fans. And they're not happy today. So we'll see what happens tomorrow. They can certainly come back. It's not over yet. But if they ultimately lose this Ryder Cup on their home turf, I don't know what to say. It's just a different mentality amongst the European players than it is for the U.S. players.
Micah Parsons returning to Dallas on Sunday night. Jerry Jones basically kind of had some comments today about how they won't honor him and they're better off because he would take plays off in the run game. Do you think some of those comments are fair, or do you think Jerry Jones is out of his mind?
Well, that's 2 different questions, Sammy. First of all, yes, Jerry Jones is out of his mind. So, I mean, regardless of the Micah Parsons situation, Jerry Jones is absolutely certifiable. Okay, if you saw the documentary, you understand what I'm talking about. He is out of his mind. But that being said, I thought that the Cowboys could be better than a lot of people thought, but their defense is absolutely atrocious. How much impact is Micah Parsons going to have? Look, he's obviously going to be motivated to get things done out there. There's a huge number. 7.5 point favorites? I would take the Dallas and the points in this game, to be honest with you. I think they're going to hang in this one. I could be wrong. It could be a repeat of that playoff game from a couple of years ago. And that's what everyone has in mind. Well, we saw this. I mean, Green Bay went into Dallas and just freaking annihilated the Cowboys on the Cowboys' home turf. I don't think that's going to happen this time. So it's still early. I'm not ready to anoint the Packers as some kind of juggernaut just because they have Micah Parsons. I need to see a lot more.
Steve, I don't know if we've seen what we saw last night happen yet this season, or maybe it was just because it was a primetime game. But last night's game was decided in a large part because of the new kickoff rules. The ball comes out to the 40 because Arizona's kicker couldn't get it into the landing zone, is what they call it. But are a few weeks in now of all these new rules, how do you feel about the kickoff rules in the NFL?
Well, I mean, I understand why they're doing it. I mean, look at the National Football League has so many lawsuits against it for CTE and all the other ailments that have been incurred for players participating in the National Football League. So the idea of the safer kickoff is really for show more than anything else. As far as kickers unable to hit the landing spot, that's on them. I mean, it's not like every kicker. I mean, you have options. You can still blast the freaking ball out of the end zone and be done with it. But if you're going to land it, I mean, it's not like they can't practice this. I mean, could you believe last week how many kicks were blocked last week? What was it? Half a dozen? There was more than that. I know there was at least 4 because I was doing the show. There was 2 in one game, obviously the Rams game. But I mean, it was unbelievable how many kicks are getting blocked. So I don't know. I look at it. Again, I understand why they're doing it. It's one of those things saying, well, you're not concerned about the safety. Yeah, we are. Look, we changed the kickoff rule to make it safer, which ultimately it is. But it is something that adjusted. And I remember when I first thought about this, I mean, you got the 2 teams lined up 5 yards apart. No one can move until the ball's actually landed on the other end. And, if the guy breaks basically that one wall, he's off to the races. And then obviously they penalize the kickers if they can't get the ball in the landing zone. So, it's a gimmicky thing, but it's all for show for the NFL that they're doing their part to make the game safer.
That's how a Hall of Famer gets things done, Sammy. We go from pro football, golf, baseball, all within 10 minutes of each other. Steve, you're the best.
Guys, again, I want to thank you right now, and all your listeners out there understand this. There will be a day when these two will join me in the Southern California Sports Broadcasters Hall of Fame. It may not happen next week. It may not happen next year. But if they continue to do what they're doing right now, they are a mortal lock.
Let's see.
You're like the Paul Skeens right now. I'm looking at like Paul Skeens, with back-to-back years with an ERA under 2 to start his career. That's what I'm looking with Fletch and Sammy.
Sammy and I both started in radio, I believe, when we were 22 years old. That means we only have 45-ish more years before we have...
And we both started because of the great Steve Hartman.
That's true. Before we have close to a resume of Steve.
Well, I tell you what, you know what? I would never have dreamt at age 22 that I would be in any kind of broadcasting Hall of Fame because I wasn't a broadcaster until I was 30. So, I mean, you're way ahead of where I was at the same point.
Steve, you're the best, man. Congratulations. I mean that from the bottom of my heart. You're one of the most talented human beings I've ever been around, and love you to death, man. We'll see you soon.
Fletch, Sammy, love you guys, and thanks again for your help to get me into the Hall of Fame.
Of course, anytime, Steve. We'll bill you later. Steve Hartman, one of the best to ever do it. It's San Diego Sports 760. I believe Sammy Long has a victory lap to take. We will do that coming up next, live on the iHeartRadio app. Hey, it's Fletch for Gary Cooper at Mountain Trust Mortgage and Realty. You can visit Gary online at mountaintrustmortgage.com or give him a call today at 858-376-1299. Gary, I got a friend who's looking to pull some cash out of his house to pay off some debts. What would you recommend for him?
Well, it all depends on his current circumstances because everybody's pretty unique. If he has already a really low fixed rate mortgage, rather than touch that, he can tap into his equity with a second mortgage. And I have 3 different products. You can do the traditional home equity line of credit, which isn't my favorite because it's a revolving account, accumulates interest on its average daily balance. I have your traditional fixed rate loans, and I also have one that's a blend of the two, where it's a fixed rate the entire time of the loan. You can draw on it like a home equity line of credit, but you're always paying principal and interest based on that balance that you're currently holding. And after 3 years of utilizing that home equity line of credit, it then becomes frozen. And if it, again, fixed rate for the rest of the term of the loan. So it all depends on what their current interest rate is at. But I think right now is still a good time to take out a second, and let's see down the future if rates maybe come down a little bit further where it makes sense to do it as a cash out refinance on your first.
Call Gary Cooper today, 858-376-1299. He has more options and more solutions to consolidate debts and unlock the equity in your home. Give Gary Cooper a call, 858-376-1299, or visit him online at mountaintrustmortgage.com. San Diego Sports 760, Ben Fletcher, Sammy Long with you till 2. John and Jim will take over then. Yeah, it is SDFC week here on San Diego Sports 760. And Sal Zizzo, who's a former MLS player and MLS Cup champion, a former U.S. men's national team player, and a San Diego native, is going to be joining us coming up in hour number 2. Excuse me. Team USA is giving me an allergic reaction right now. Bryson DeChambeau had a brief lead over Tommy Fleetwood and Justin Rose, but just lost it on a whole. Team USA getting whooped in the Ryder Cup so far today. All right, Sammy, victory lap. Go ahead.
Had to hit a little same game parlay. I hope a lot of you tailed. We got got a lot of DMs last night. People who were very happy. We made money going into the weekend, so I'm proud if you row with us. We had a little bit of a backdoor cover there. I was nervous because it didn't look like Sam Darnold's over was going to hit until shout out to the Cardinals tying the game. Kyler got out of the pocket, hit his over on rushing yards late in that one, and Marvin Harrison got it going there in the second half for having a dreadful first half. So shout out to the Cardinals and Seahawks. Putting our three same game parlay, three game same leg parlay. I can't talk.
It was one game.
It was one game,
3 leg.
1 game, 3 leg parlay together. But guess what? This weekend we have college football. We have NFL. We have a special parlay cooked up for you that we're gonna get to in a minute.
Now, before we get to long shots, just to remind both Sammy and myself, who oftentimes we get down on our NFL teams because let's face it, who's had a worse start than the Kansas City Chiefs this year? Not too many people. So Sammy's been down a little bit. Who's been more injured than the San Francisco 49ers?
Who's been more injured than the Kansas City Chiefs?
Yeah, it's been rough, and we get down on our team sometimes, but it's just a reminder to be grateful that we are not Arizona Cardinals fans. Here is an Arizona Cardinal fan on Twitter saying, the haters said Kyler Murray was too short to succeed in the NFL. The haters said Kyler needs to spend less time playing Call of Duty and more time studying the playbook. The haters said Kyler Murray should have stuck with baseball. The haters were correct. Honestly, a good call from the haters on all of that.
I feel like if Kyler switched from Call of Duty to Madden, do you know how much better he would be?
Because he would understand defenses a little bit.
He would understand defenses instead of just running around on Nuketown and trying to get kill streaks.
The last 5 minutes last night, Kyler Murray was kind of elite. In the last 5 minutes last night, Marvin Harrison Jr. remembered that he's an NFL wide receiver and he's supposed to catch footballs. Also, Cardinals jerseys were pretty sick. But the Seahawks won the game.
You like those? I did not like those.
Oh, I thought they were cool, man. The little paint spatter.
My mom hated them. It was
really?
bothering her while we were watching the game. She's like, "This is like."
Them. I thought they were cool. All right. Well, Sammy was a winner last night. Let's see if this hot streak can move up to 2. We got a payout boost today, I think, with a Flex Friday. So you get I don't know how much the payout boost is, but it's significant. So Sammy, smash it.
You looking for some luck? Want to win big? Gotta play big.
You are so money and you don't even know it.
Time to take a chance
Pay that man his money.
with long shots.
You're going to Vegas this weekend too, right?
I'm going to Vegas.
You gonna say hi to our friends over at Circa?
2-3 hours. Yes, I believe we're going to Circa Swim tomorrow.
Nice.
Stadium Swim. Going to be watching all the games there, having a good time.
You know, you could tell them if they just want to make out the check to us now for Circa Survivor, they're more than welcome to.
I'm going to go talk to our people and say, listen, I don't know if you guys know who we are. Come on now. We're the number one Circa supporters out there. And there's 13,000 people left.
Right.
But honestly, they're not really in it. Because we have money picks and we're going to share with you on the other side.
Well, we're taking Denver. If you want to talk us out of it, you could talk us out of it over the next hour. 70470. Start your message with team.
I feel okay. We'll get to long shots and then we'll discuss that later. All right, we have a big parlay for the weekend. We're going to start with college football. All right, Washington, Ohio State, Washington hosting Ohio State. The spread has actually come down in this game. Ohio State open as 8.5-point favorites. It's been bet down to 7.5. Julian Sayin, freshman quarterback, local kid from Carlsbad High, going on the road to Washington. Very tough place to play. I think he's going to have a good day, but we're going less than 255.5 pass yards. I think we're going to see a lot of the running game for Ohio State. I know the running game hasn't been as it was last year with Quinshon Judkins and Travion Henderson, but they're going to take this thing on the road, and they haven't really been tested yet. They played Texas at home. Sayin wasn't great in that game until the last couple drives where he hit that big one in Jeremiah Smith. I think Julian Sayin goes under on this number, 255.5 pass yards, less than. Night game, Penn State, Oregon quarterback Dante Moore going on the road. Oregon's been fantastic. Penn State's currently a 3.5-point favorite. I like Oregon here, though. I think Oregon's the side at plus 3.5, 224.5 pass yards. We're going to go more than for Dante Moore. I think this could be a real backdoor cover. I wouldn't be surprised in the first half. It's a whiteout game. Penn State's going to be going crazy. But Penn State has also not been tested. Everyone's assuming Penn State's this juggernaut and Drew Aller's this fantastic quarterback. They've been playing Villanova this year. They have had maybe the worst schedule in all of college football. I think we could see Oregon pretty battle-tested. Not a lot of pressure going on the road. If they lose this game in a close one, it's a bigger deal if Penn State loses this game versus if Oregon loses this game. I think Dante Moore is one of the most underrated quarterbacks in college football. Going to make his case for the Heisman. More than 224.5 pass yards against that Penn State defense.
Where'd our music go?
Oh,
Bring it back.
Our music left us.
Come on, it's all about the vibe.
What is
Sammy.
going on? What is going on today, guys? All right, we got our music back. All right, now everything's right in the world. All right, we're going to the NFL on Sunday. Jackson Dart, rookie quarterback, Ole Miss, starting against the Chargers defense. We're staying away from pass yards. Okay, the Chargers got a really good secondary. I think they're going to be able to get after it a little bit. We're going to go to rush yards, 34.5. Daboll's going to get him out of the pocket. Dart, I think early in this game, there's going to be a lot of read options. He's already checked in the first 3 weeks in some sub packages. They tried to run a little read option against the Chiefs. We're going to go more than 34.5 rush yards, especially with Khalil Mack being out. I think that they can take advantage of the Chargers front a little bit there. We're going to go Saquon Barkley, Tampa Bay against Philadelphia. Saquon's been quiet the first 3 weeks. He really has not popped off. He had a nice rushing touchdown against the Chiefs, but besides that, he hasn't really done a whole ton. I think today, Sunday's the game he finally breaks out. More than 81.5 rush yards. Saquon Barkley gets it going. I think they're going to try to slow down that Tampa Bay passing attack because they can get after it. Emeka Egbuka, I know Mike Evans is out for a little bit, but the offense in general is really good for Tampa Bay. I think it's more about running the ball with Saquon Barkley. More than 81.5 rush yards. And then you know what? Because it's a Flex Friday and we have a 60% payout boost, we're going to throw a Red Demon in there because that's the kind of weekend we're going to have. Dak Prescott, Sunday night, Red Demon, more than 1.5 passing touchdowns. Vegas wants you to think this game. Steve said it when he was on 15 minutes ago. Said the spread's a little too high for me. 7.5 favored in Dallas. I get that CeeDee Lamb's out. They still, with a full week of practice, I think they're going to be able to move the ball a little bit with George Pickens. I think Dak Prescott's going to show people a little bit because everyone's talking about the Packers not giving the Cowboys a shot. And I mean, let's not remember the Packers lost to the Browns last week. I mean, that was not a very good performance. They put up 10 points in total. I think Dak Prescott's actually going to have a pretty good night and throw for a couple passing touchdowns. So to recap our 5-leg parlay, Julian Sand, quarterback for Ohio State, less than 255.5 pass yards. Quarterback for Oregon, Dante Moore, more than 224.5 pass yards. Jackson Dart, rookie QB for the New York Giants, going more than 34.5 rush yards. Saquon Barkley going more than 81.5 rush yards for the Eagles. And then we're going to go Dak Prescott, Red Demon, more than 1.5 passing touchdowns Sunday Night Football.
I like this a lot. Sammy's going to stay hot. We're going to keep this rolling. Am I jumping in on a little parlay with you and your boys out in Vegas too?
We are. We're gonna go in. I think we're gonna do a whole college football parlay tomorrow.
I like it.
We're beginning with USC money line.
Okay.
We're just debating on Oregon plus 3.5, or if we're going to just boost it with a little Penn State. But I think it's going to be a very close game, so I'd probably lean Oregon with the points.
All right, big three of hour number 2 coming up next. Sal Zizzo coming up in hour number 2. Talk some SDFC ahead of their final home game, and we'll talk some Padres as well. Plus, we got to talk about NFL Week 4, the Sunday coming up. We got to lock in our pick for sure at San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app.
The sports sponsored by Anderson Plumbing, Heating, and Air. Padres will be back tonight against the Arizona Diamondbacks at home. Zach Gallen will be going for the Snakes, while Yu Darvish will be going for the Padres. And San Diego State is taking the show on the road against the Northern Illinois Huskies. Tomorrow at 12:30, you can hear the pregame starting at 10:30 on San Diego Sports 760 with Fletch and J.R. Tovler. They're currently 2.5-point favorites in Northern Illinois. And then at night, you can also hear on SDFC. SDFC will be playing at 7:30 right here on San Diego Sports 760. Need HVAC this month? Get 0% for 18 months on a new system. Schedule your free proposal at AndersonPHA.com. Anderson, fast and reliable.
Welcome to the Fletch Zone.
No fluff, just facts.
NFL Week 4 begins with more late game magic.
Michael Dixon puts it down. Jason Myers, the kick is on the way. And the kick is up. And the kick is good. And the Seahawks win the
A
game.
recap and a look ahead to Sunday's action. And the Padres finish up the regular season versus the D-backs at Petco. We take a look at how October is shaping up. Plus, the Aztecs look to continue their momentum versus Northern Illinois.
Misdirection, Napier blocker in front. Napier near the goal line. He is in for the touchdown. Jordan Napier.
And SDFC's last home game of the regular season happens at Snapdragon. And no, we're not going to go after Sammy's picks. At least not until Monday. Kicking off the weekend right in the Fletch Zone.
Hour number 2 here on San Diego Sports 760. Ben Fletcher, Sammy Long with you till 2 o'clock today. John and Jim will take over then. We are going to get right into the big three because I'm running back into the studio after spilling at least 2 pounds of used coffee grounds all over the kitchen, Sammy.
There was already Cheez-Its all over the floor.
Well, that wasn't me. The coffee grounds was absolutely me. I did my best to clean it up, but we were going to be back on air. So
It is like the iHeart building is
Still a mess.
fantastic, and people just abuse this break room. I mean, I go in there. First off, they didn't even invite Fletch and I. They brought Randy's Donuts in yesterday. No one told us. No one let us know. And then they're like, oh, they're back in there at like 2 o'clock after the show, and they're completely picked through. So I don't know if upper management did this or who got into it, the sales team.
The mess that's in there right now is 100% on me. It literally, the entire coffee grounds that had just been used to fill up a new pot of coffee is everywhere right now. So I apologize to that. I'll try my best to go back in the next commercial break and clean it up. Sal Zizzo is going to be joining us coming up in about 10 minutes. He is a former MLS player. He's an MLS Cup champion. He also hosts the official SDFC podcast. He's going to be joining us in just a few minutes. So let's get to the big three, Sammy, of hour number 2, where Sammy takes us through the top stories in the world of sports. Sammy, smash it.
Your lunch break is here. Ready to go back to the office and knock the socks off your friends? I mean, coworkers? It's time for the top stories of the day. The Big Three.
This has been a very good week for me and Sammy because we have not fought once over our Circa Survivor pick. I mean, we've had little arguments about it, but I think we've both been settled on Denver, and we're happy about that.
It makes me a little nervous that we haven't argued about
I
it.
know.
So maybe we'll drum up some drama for the last hour, and then we'll just stick with Denver.
If you have a better pick than Denver for this week in Circa Survivor, we don't want to touch any of the huge favorites this week.
No Bills Saints.
We need to take a little bit of a riskier pick this week. But if you got a better one, 70470, start your message with team or jump in the YouTube chat or on Twitter. We can find it there as well. Sammy, where are we starting with hour 2?
All right, let's start college football. Massive weekend starting tomorrow. We have a few ranked matchups. 21 USC is taking on 23 Illinois. We got number 4 LSU taking on 13 Ole Miss. Oregon, number 6, taking on number 3 Penn State, and number 17 Alabama taking on number 5 Georgia. Fletch, what matchup are you most excited for this weekend?
I am pretty excited about the Ohio State-Washington matchup in Washington. Can UW pull any sort of upset? They're not ranked right now, but going up against the number 1 team in the country at your house, you feel like that's going to mean a lot for UW. And it would be cool to see that kind of shake-up in the college football schedule, although I don't think it's going to happen. LSU Ole Miss feels like the game of the weekend for me. I know Penn State Oregon is huge, massive, but LSU Ole Miss is just going to be a ton of fun, man. This might be the best college football weekend of the year so far, maybe of the entire season.
I'm super stoked for it. And this whole narrative that people try to push about how expanding the playoff would make the regular season, these matchups less interesting, it's the complete opposite. They made them way more interesting. The fact that now there's teams that are outside the top 25 that have a legit chance to make the playoff. Where it
feels like schedule makers have also pushed for a little tougher schedules in the regular season.
It was embarrassing when the first 4 weeks of the college football season is them playing directional schools. It's like, what are we doing here? Like, I don't want to see you beat a team by 60 because they're playing guys that are half your size. I'm super stoked for. I think Penn State Oregon is going to be fantastic. There's a lot of questions here. Everyone's kind of assuming that Penn State's going to win this game. They have not been tested. There was a report that came out earlier this week. Drew Aller, could he be the number one pick going into next year's draft? Apparently, scouts really like him. I don't really see it right now. He had the big turnover, the interception in Notre Dame last year in the semifinal, so they got ousted from being in the championship game. This is a big test for him, and then can Oregon take it on the road? Because Oregon this year, even though they've been ranked in the top 10 the whole time, hasn't probably gotten the respect that they should have, mainly because people's last image of them was them getting mud stomped by Ohio State, and that game was one of the worst things I've ever seen in my life. Gabriel couldn't even complete a pass in the first half. So I'm excited for that one. I'm excited to see USC Illinois in the sense of, can Illinois respond after being drubbed by Indiana? And then on the SC side, SC has been fantastic so far. I'm stoked about them, but they also haven't played a ranked opposition yet. I think the win over Michigan State and Purdue was a big deal, but this is the first real road test where you're going into a legit spot. That's going to be a tough thing. I'm curious to see if the offense in the running game can travel.
All right, who next?
All right, let's head number 2 to the NFL. So Tua Tagovailoa and Cam Newton, Fletch. I don't know if you've seen this. Going back and forth on social media, Cam Newton basically criticized Tua Tagovailoa. Tua Tagovailoa responded and said, "I want to see anybody on the streets come play QB." And then Cam Newton fired back this morning saying the Miami Dolphins is more about Love Island than actually winning on the football field, saying it's just a drama kind of freak show down there. What response to these comments? Who you siding with, Tua or Cam Newton?
Look, there's two ways to kind of look at it. And the first way is, if anyone's going to be able to talk about the quarterback position in 2025, it should be a former quarterback. Like, you hear Cam Newton, a guy who literally won an MVP, was one of the most electric quarterbacks ever to play the position, talking about Tua Tagovailoa, and you're like, yeah, I mean, maybe we give Cam the grace to do that. But also, why are we taking shots at people, Cam? You were on some bad Carolina teams. You were pretty bad towards the end of your career. I don't think you need to be taking shots at Tua. And on the other side of things, Cam Newton's kind of right. Tua Tagovailoa and the Dolphins are a bit of a disaster this year. They are drama, man. You look at Tyreek Hill on the sideline. It's every game. There's something else that's going on with Tyreek Hill. He's complaining about not getting the ball enough. He's dropping passes. Like, there is drama in Miami. But Cam, come on, dude. Like, how would you feel if during the waning days of your NFL career, somebody was jumping on podcasts, somebody was jumping on ESPN, and was a former quarterback saying, man, Cam Newton sucks, can't play the position anymore?
And to that end, it's ironic coming from Cam, because the one season where they got to the Super Bowl and lost to Denver, he's fantastic. But there's a lot
until the Super Bowl.
Until the Super Bowl, and there's a lot in that game. Do you remember the play where he could have jumped on the football and Von Miller got there? Yep. It didn't even look like he jumped on it. I mean, there's a lot going on there. I'm surprised Cam Newton's running his mouth about this, like, especially with a guy like Tua. I'm not making excuses for him. He needs to play better, but he also has had a massive injury history, and that has really kind of probably changed the course of his career.
And we all watched the downfall of Cam Newton's career.
Completely.
We saw him play really bad football.
And also, it's like, again, I'm not defending Tua. Tua has not been good this year, and he has a lot of weapons, so there's no excuse for this. But it's not like Miami's defense is good either. So they've been a massive problem all season. I think this is a little bit unfair and ironic coming from Cam a little bit, who did have a real downfall at the end of his career. Time for one more?
Yeah.
All right. Chiefs, Ravens. Chiefs hosting Baltimore. Both teams are 1-2 on the season. What team, if they lose on Sunday, is in a worse spot going forward?
619 texting the show. Sammy's Chiefs aren't that injured. They just suck. That wasn't me. That was the 619.
Yeah, 619. Hating on me.
Neither team, I think, is in trouble, like missing playoffs trouble. I really don't think either of them are. The fact that one of these teams is about to be 1-3 is shocking to me. If you have that in Vegas heading into the season, congratulations. You're a very rich person now. I would say potentially the Ravens are in a little bit more trouble, because at least the Chiefs have the experience. They're getting healthier as the season progresses, and the Chiefs know how to play pressure football in a really big way. The problem with Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens is they've been front runners throughout his entire career, and they get out to these incredible records. They're near the top of the AFC every season, and then it kind of falls apart when the pressure ramps up. Well, you drop to 1-3 to start a season, every single game becomes a playoff game from here until the actual postseason. So that is the only reason why the Ravens are going to be in a little bit more trouble. Not to mention the Chiefs, they're going to be getting healthier here in the coming weeks, and they get Rasheed back.
Both teams, obviously, you fall to 1-3. The percentages are not good. I do think with both of these teams, there's a difference in 1-3 versus a lot of other 1-3 teams, in that you do have a generational quarterback on both teams. I've said this about the Chiefs. They have to be 3-3 until Rasheed comes back. So wherever that's going to be, in the next 3 games, you have to be 2-1. You cannot go 1-2, and if you lose all 3, you're cooked. So in terms of that with the division, the Chiefs are probably in more trouble if they lose because of the division, because the Chargers are solid. I'm not as high on them as a lot of people are. I think they're going to come back to earth, but they have been a good football team. They beat every team in the division so far. I do think Denver is better than their record. I think 1-2, they could easily be 3-0. They should have beat the Colts. And if they hit that bomb against the Chargers, they're probably 3-0 right now. So they have a better division, whereas Joe Burrow gets hurt with the Bengals. The Browns had a big win last week, but I don't see the Browns contending for the division. And outside of Pittsburgh, who I do think could make a run, I still think Baltimore is the team to be in that division. But I do think with the Chiefs getting healthier in the long run, I think the Ravens have more problems because they just have the team currently constructed right now. I do think the Chiefs' offensive woes, not the running game, that needs to be resolved, but the passing attack will look much different with Worthy back and Rasheed Rice back in a few
Alvin
weeks.
Kamara in a Kansas City Chiefs jersey.
I wouldn't hate it.
I can kind of see it. Sal Zizzo is going to join us coming up next. He's a former MLS player, MLS Cup champion, former U.S. men's national team player. He's a San Diego native and one of the hosts of the official SDFC podcast. Let's preview some San Jose and SDFC coming up next at San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app. San Diego Sports 760 and iHeartRadio bring you the Global Citizen Festival 2025 from New York City at Central Park's Great Lawn. Live performances from The Weeknd, Shakira, Tyla, and more, all hosted by Hugh Jackman. Join the movement to end extreme poverty now, one action at a time at globalcitizenfestival.com. Check out Global Citizen Radio all day on the free iHeartRadio app, or listen to Hit Nation tomorrow at 7 p.m. All right, why don't we welcome on Sal Zizzo to the show, former MLS player, MLS Cup champ, former U.S. men's national team player, San Diego native, one of the hosts of the official SDFC podcast, and former SD loyal player as well. Sal, how the hell are you today? My name is Ben Fletcher. That's Sammy Long. Thank you for giving us some time.
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah, man, it's an absolute pleasure. So, final home game of the regular season coming up this weekend for SDFC. You've been covering this team all year. We know they're favorites against San Jose, but how do you see this going down on Saturday?
I mean, obviously, they've had a very good season, right? Especially as an expansion year team. San Jose comes in. They've scored a lot of goals, actually the same amount of goals that SDFC's that's scored, but they've allowed a ton, right? And they're a team that's just going to come out firing. But I do think SDFC playing at home, I think they want to finish their home in a good way. They haven't had the best at home season, which is very, very different and strange when it comes to MLS. They actually have a better road record, which is crazy. But they're going to be coming home, like you said, last game, home game of the year before playoffs. They're going to have a home playoff game, so that's great. And they're looking to get the win, and they're also looking to go 6-0 against all the California teams, which is, again, pretty wild for a first-year team.
3 games left in the regular season. What's something you really want to see SDFC improve on over the next couple weeks here before the playoffs?
Well, I mean, honestly, they've checked almost every single box. Like it's like I said, it's pretty wild for an expansion year team to just click on every cylinder, right? I could say something like, I really like them to come back after going down a goal, or, whatever it may be, but they literally have done most everything, right? What I would like to see, and I just touched on it, is them to get that final home game and get a win out of it. Because look, you got to win your home games in the playoffs. That's going to be key, and they're going to have some home playoff games. So I think it's just super important to send them off at Snapdragon with a win. And then you never know, right? They could, if they win all 3 games, I think there's a possibility of them competing for the Supporters Shield, which is obviously the most points in the regular season, which would be obviously a tremendous feat.
Check out the official SDFC podcast anywhere you find your podcasts, as well as YouTube and on SanDiegoFC.com. Sal, when you look back at your playing experience, when you look back at your different MLS Cup runs, what do you see in terms of what this team can do in the postseason that gives them a little bit of an advantage over some other MLS teams this year?
Well, again, something I've been touching on, but their road record is honestly unheard of. I mean, especially for an expansion year team. So what that says is not only are your home games important, but they're a team that has shown they can win on the road. They can also come back from going down a goal, right? No matter in any game this season, going down 1 goal, going down 2 goals, they've always shown the ability to come back and not only pull out results, but pull out wins. And that's for me, that's a perfect sign for a team that's going to do well in the playoffs, right? Their team chemistry is really good. They can score goals. They have, a lot of different goal scorers on the season. And I just think, you combine all that together, and I think that's a recipe for a team that can really do some damage in the playoffs.
Who do you see as SDFC's potential biggest challenge in the Western Conference?
I think LAFC, I know we've gone 2-0 against them, but I do think, with the signing of Sun, and I think Danny Boanga starting to click on all cylinders, they're a team that I feel like is one of those teams that, like when, in the NBA, back in the day, you used to always be like, oh, Lakers just kind of need to get in and then they can do a playoff run, right? Well, it's similar to that, right? I think like they're a team that you definitely don't want to see in the playoffs, but you're more than likely going to. And they've been in an MLS Cup a few times. They've won it. Like, I just think they're a dangerous team to have to face, although SDFC's had their number so far this year.
Sal, you grew up in San Diego. You've traveled the world playing soccer. What does it mean to you as a San Diegan to have SDFC here, to see the success that they've had this year? We talked to Adrian Garcia Marquez, who's lived here his whole life, but called games all over the world. And it's just so emotional, so powerful for him to see this finally happening in San Diego. What does it mean to you?
I mean, it's everything, honestly. I mean, I was, lucky enough to play in the MLS for 9 seasons. And, every year I just would wish and say, gosh, I can't believe San Diego doesn't have a team. It's such a big city. It'd be perfect. And then for them to go into this year, them having probably a lot of doubts around them, at least on the field stuff. I think we always knew it would be a juggernaut. We didn't know how long, obviously, with the emphasis on the academy and things like that. I think everyone just thought over time it might be more of a project, but the way they've come out is literally unheard of. I mean, you can look up every single pundit on the MLS and check up where they had them at the start of the year. And I think most of them had them, if not the very bottom, towards the bottom, right? And so for them to come in and already prove that they have an identity, a style of play, like it's just been incredible to see, not only just to have a team here, but then to be, considered a top team in the MLS right away. It's been incredible.
What's a player on SDFC you think doesn't get enough national attention that should?
I mean, that's a tough one because, obviously Anders Dreyer is having an incredible season, right? And I think he's getting a lot of recognition. One that obviously him and Messi, I think, are right now kind of going toe to toe for the MVP. So can't really say him. I do think Yeppe as the number 6, Yeppe Tverskov as the defensive mid. He was one that he signed. He's in his upper 20s, if not early 30s, and he's been able to be that stalwart, in the middle, and he's so calm in possession. He's making tackles. He sprays balls all over the field. I think he's one. I know he was an all-star, but just when you talk about the big names like Dreyer and Lozano, he's not necessarily someone that pops up on the score sheet all the time. And obviously, I think Manu Dua also, lately, has really come on at center back, and I think he's been a really key piece for them down the stretch, and I think he's going to continue that going into playoffs.
The supporter section has been unreal, Sal. It's been cool to see San Diego really come together at Snapdragon Stadium and be loud, be crazy for the entire game. But as someone who's been there, done that, been in the MLS Cup before, been in the MLS postseason before, what do you need to see out of the supporters in San Diego as they take that next step into the postseason?
I mean, honestly, it's everything they've already been doing. They've been great all season. I mean, a lot of the players that we have on the podcast, we ask them many times, how's the atmosphere been, not only at home, but on the road. And they always point out the fans, right, on the road, especially when they talk about that first game against LA Galaxy in LA. They say, oh, wow, I just remember winning that game and looking up in the stands and all the traveling fans from San Diego, and it was jam-packed. And I think they've brought that energy really all season. And I know they're going to come hyped and ready to go, not only for the home game, which is obviously fan appreciation night, but also going into playoffs.
Yeah, man, it's going to be fun. We can't wait for it. SanDiegoFC.com for tickets this Saturday, the final home match of the regular season for SDFC. Sal Zizzo, thank you so much for jumping on, man. Check out the official SDFC podcast. You can find it at SanDiegoFC.com. Anywhere else you find your podcast, YouTube as well. Sal, thank you for your time, brother. Good luck this weekend. I know you'll be living and dying on every single second for Saturday. Have a blast, man. We appreciate you.
Anytime, guys. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Good meeting you, Sal. All right, take a quick break here. NFL Week 4 is coming up. It's already upon us. Sammy and I need a pick. We need a lock. Text line's blowing up, and we got a very, very pissed off Saints fan on our text line as well. Let's get to it on the other side. It's San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app. Hey, it's Fletch for Prize Picks. Download the app today. Use promo code Fletch. When you do, you're going to get a $50 bonus after your first $5 entry, because on Prize Picks, it is good to be right. If you need a $5 entry, I got just the thing for you. This is not long shots. Ask Sammy on Twitter if you want one of his long shots picks. I went a little bit differently. I got Saquon Barkley plus Bucky Irving in the same game, going more than 187.5 rush plus receiving yards combined between the two of them. I also have the discounted pick of Jalen Hurts, just a half passing yard. And I think Aaron Rodgers is going to throw a couple touchdowns over the pond in Ireland. So I got him at more than 1.5 touchdowns as well. Download the Prize Picks app today. Use that entry as your first $5 entry. You could win it. You could lose it. Doesn't matter. You get a $50 bonus right after you play your first $5 entry. Prize Picks makes it fun, quick, and easy. You can build your lineup in under a minute while you're settling in on the couch, getting ready for kickoff. Prize Picks is the best spot to get sports action here in California. Withdrawals are fast, safe, and secure with Venmo, Apple Pay, and more. And you can join the millions of people already playing. Get a part of the billions of dollars already awarded. And today on a Flex Friday, you get a nice little profit boost as well. Use promo code Fletch at sign up. Get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. It's good to be right.
The sport is sponsored by Dell Technologies. Europe is currently beating the U.S. 3-1 in the Ryder Cup. There are currently 4 double matchups in action right now. The Padres are be hosting the Arizona Diamondbacks tonight. Yu Darvish should be on the mound, while ace Zach Gallen will be going for the Diamondbacks. The new Dell AI PC with Intel Core Ultra helps you fast forward through busy work like editing images, summarizing meeting notes, and responding to Jim Long's emails, leaving more time for you time. Get yours at Dell.com/AIPC.
San Diego Sports 760. We got about 30 minutes left here on the Fletch Zone. Ben Fletcher, Sammy Long with you till 2. John and Jim will take over right after we get off the air. And Sammy Long, we have not even began to dive in to week 4 of the NFL season. We got games beginning on Sunday. Couple games you're going to hear here on 760, your home for the NFL in San Diego. But let's get into it. So we feel pretty confident that our pick for this week in Circuit Survivor is not until Monday night. So we can almost hold off on that conversation until then, unless you have something else you want to sneak in here, because I feel good about Denver. I'm happy with it.
I feel good about Denver. We threw out to the text line. Text line has some thoughts. Says, I like your 615. I like your Denver pick, but I also like Sammy's Miami pick.
He's a Miami fan. Don't trust him.
He says, I know. Crazy hearing that from me, but I know that Miami will win because if they go 0-4, they will probably fire their coach. And Chris Greer, the GM, will likely be out. And there's no possible way a Dolphins fan could get that lucky. That's why I'm taking Miami.
Look, Miami probably is not going to go 0-4 either, but I feel much more solid about the Denver pick. I don't like the Miami pick whatsoever. They're a bit of a disaster. 858 saying you got to ride with the Broncos this weekend. I think so too. I'm happy with that pick. We've trusted our gut every single week up to this point. Whatever team we've said first is the team who we've ended up going with. We said that with the Cardinals in week 1, Ravens in week 2. Last week with the Seahawks, I feel good about doing that again this week. Trusting our guts. Our guts have not led us astray at all. Outside of that, we have some really great games in NFL week 4 coming up. The one that pops off the screen without a doubt is the Kansas City Chiefs taking on the Baltimore Ravens. The fact that both of these teams are 1-2, the fact that one of these teams is guaranteed to be 1-3 is something none of us envisioned as even being possible heading into this season. But that's exactly where we're at right now. So they've had tough schedules leading up to this point. The Chiefs obviously are not even a full football team right now. They won't be for another couple of weeks still. But Sammy, as a Chiefs fan, I know the panic is already running through you, but do you see any way that the Chiefs can pull an upset here? And I do think it'd be an upset.
Well, yeah. Well, they can certainly win this game. I know that the Ravens are favored by 2.5. I probably got this as 50-50 because Worthy's coming back. Now, I understand why people are high on Baltimore. The Chiefs' offense has looked pretty rough, especially with Worthy and Rasheed being out. Worthy being back will take the top off the defense. You'll see if Tyquan Thornton can keep up what he's been able to do the last couple of weeks. But that matchup's interesting because it comes down to the Ravens' defense has been awful against the Bills, who's got a great offense, and the Lions. So we'll see if the Chiefs have not looked like they have had a great offense so far. I firmly do believe that most of that has been because of the receiving core. It was built on Worthy and Rasheed being there. You get one of those pieces back on Sunday. And then on the other side, how is Lamar going to do against the Chiefs defense? Because the Chiefs defense has quietly been kind of the savior so far. They've been really good after that Charger game where they did not have a very good performance. They were very good against Philly and very good against the Giants. We'll see if they can keep Lamar in the pocket. Lamar has struggled against the Chiefs in years past. Steve Spagnuolo. It's kind of funny because what the Lions did on Monday night, blitzing Lamar, is kind of what Spagnuolo did to Lamar. Spagnuolo, the defensive coordinator for the Chiefs, was one of the first guys to have success against Lamar Jackson because he did that. The thinking was that you would never blitz Lamar Jackson because if he gets out of the pocket, he's going to take off for 40 yards. But he kind of is going to do that anyway. So you might as well try to get to him on a blitz. I think it's going to be an excellent game. I think it's very crucial for both teams, but I've been consistent. I think the Chiefs need to be 3-3 through 6 weeks when Rasheed comes back. So if you lose this one, you got to win the next 2.
Yeah, I think it's important for Lamar Jackson in this game to adjust because he knows that that's what Spags is going to do. Spags, everybody knows he's going to send everybody and blitz the quarterback all day long. So is Lamar going to be able to adjust? Because he just saw a similar defense do that to him a week ago and they had success against him. I actually think this is a pretty heavy Lamar rush game today or coming up this weekend. And I think he tries to get out of the pocket quickly. Another game, which at the beginning of the season, we all thought would have been a wash, would have been a Rams absolute domination, is Rams Colts in LA. But the Colts have shown they're for real so far through this season. And Daniel Jones has had this resurgence. I thought last week was going to be the week that we saw Daniel Jones kind of turn back into the pumpkin. He did not. He was excellent once again. Is this the week that the Colts get figured out? They're going to be playing against the best defense they've faced all year. The Rams defense with Jared Verse up front has been fantastic so far this season. Matthew Stafford's played good enough. Puka Nacua is on fire. Devontae Adams is starting to fit in nicely with the Rams offense. Look, I have the Rams winning this game, but are the Colts going to finally show us what they really are? Or are they just a really good team? I think we learn a lot this weekend.
I think they're going to lose. I think the Rams win the game. I do think that the Colts might have a good offensive performance still because the one concern for the Rams is the kind of corner spot. That's the number 2 corner spot. If you're the Rams, you look at and you kind of go, that you probably have to address at the trade deadline. But the Colts are weird. I thought they were garbage, but honestly, the Colts have been that team the last feels like 5-6 years that it feels like the roster's been there. It's just they've never had a quarterback. They had Phillip Rivers at the very end of his career. I mean, Carson Wentz. There's kind of a revolving door of veteran guys who are kind of past it. I mean, kudos to Daniel Jones. Like they have looked good. They punted one time in 3 weeks. And
they've made it obvious that this wasn't really a quarterback competition between Daniel Jones and Anthony Richardson. I bet you the Colts would have liked to be able to start Anthony Richardson this year. but I'll bet you Daniel Jones looked pretty damn good in the
You
preseason.
think he gets flipped now?
What, Anthony Richardson?
Yeah, for like a pick. Like, I'm surprised with his athletic ability and the tools there that a team is not taking a project on him. Even like a good team, even like a Bills, even like a Ravens.
I can see the Ravens trying to take him because he could fit into that Lamar offense pretty easily. Like they had Snoop Huntley behind Lamar for a long time because Snoop Huntley could kind of run a similar style of offense as Lamar Jackson. I could see the Ravens taking a flyer on him and trying to bring him in just to be a backup. But I feel like Anthony Richardson does have starting potential still in this league. He just needs the right person to unlock it. And so far in Indianapolis, they've been the right fit for Daniel Jones. I thought it was fascinating to see what Saquon Barkley said about Daniel Jones last week, where he was talking about, look, it's weird now that I'm not on the Giants and I'm on a different team for me to even think about any of the players I used to play with. And I have a really hard time rooting for anyone on a different team. But I'll never not root for Daniel Jones because he was that dude and it wasn't him. All the stuff that the Giants were going through when him and Saquon were there, like Daniel Jones was a product of maybe a bad organization with the Giants. And this is who he could have been the entire time. Like Daniel Jones might just be a legit starting quarterback.
That is a bigger question too. Like we've seen
we
this
overlooked him
with to the Daniel Jones conversation, like with the Giants. We see this with teams that are drafting at the top. Like sometimes the team around them is terrible. Look at the Panthers. The Panthers traded to the Bears. Now, no one knows if either deal really worked out. They traded DJ Moore, who was their big receiver. They traded draft picks, and they select Bryce Young. And it's kind of hard, even though Bryce Young didn't look very good in his first year, it's kind of hard to destroy Bryce Young when you look at who he's throwing to. And Adam Thielen is literally his best receiver, who's 34 years old and past it. And it's not even a shot to Adam Thielen at the time. It's just like that's not really a recipe for success when you know a rookie quarterback's going to go through growing pains. And it kind of felt like that was with the Giants. They had Saquon Barkley, and who was playing receiver? I mean, the Giants receiving core for years was terrible until they got Malik Neighbors. They never really had any offensive weapons. So we could be seeing a situation like a Sam Darnold, a kind of guy like that we kind of thought the career was over, and maybe they come back with Daniel Jones. But I am curious to see how that when they face like real competition like the Rams, what happens.
We got the news today that Jaden Daniels and Terry McLaurin are going to miss the game for the Commanders, who are playing against the Falcons. Falcons need to figure out how to beat a team that scores any points. I don't know if you saw the stat. Michael Penix, when facing teams that score more than 7 points, is 0-4 in his NFL career. Obviously, that's going to need to change. Maybe we were a little too hyped on Michael Penix heading into year 2, but this feels like an opportunity at home in Atlanta for them to get a good win over the Commanders, who are a little battered and bruised. Now, the upset alert I got out for this week is the Tampa Bay Bucks facing off at the Philadelphia
I knew you were
Eagles.
going to go there.
Like, is there a chance that this is the week? We all thought it was going to be last week, but is there a chance this is the week that the tush push actually gets called for some offsides and some false starts, and the Buccaneers at home in Tampa improve to 4-0? Can Baker Mayfield and the Bucks topple the Eagles? I'll tell you this, Sammy and I are rooting for it in a big way because I have a feeling a lot of people are going to be on the Eagles this week. A lot of people are going to be on the Bills this week. So you have never met bigger Tampa Bay Buccaneers and New Orleans Saints fans in your life.
I saw something about in terms of like Circuit Survivor that something like 80 to 90% of the bets this week they're predicting at Circa is going to be the Bills over the Saints.
I love that. Come on, Saints.
Oh,
if there was going to be one time in your life, look, they're on the road in Buffalo. It's not going to be easy, but come on,
15.5 point spread.
Spencer Rattler, can you do something for me one time? How cool would that be, dude?
To your Bucks pick, I like that, and that's an interesting game in terms of the NFC playoff picture because you like who has more pressure in that game? You would think
Eagles.
I agree because the Eagles, for being 3-0,
is Egbuka playing?
He's playing. Mike Evans is out, so you're going to see. I believe Chris Godwin's back, so you're swapping out Godwin with Evans, but. Like on that game alone, you have if the Bucks win the game, we start looking at the Bucks, who perennially the last couple of years have been playoff teams. We haven't really, I don't think too many people have taken the Bucks seriously as a Super Bowl contender. They just see them as a perennial playoff team. A lot of that maybe has to do with the fact that they beat up on a weak division, the NFC South, with not too many great teams. But I do think this Bucks team has the kind of offense and has some good defensive pieces to do something. And then the Eagles, like they haven't looked very good. And you got to give them credit. They're 3-0. The Chiefs won a gazillion games last year when they probably should have lost. And so I understand there's something to just winning games. So I'm not just dogging the Eagles out. But the Rams game, they should have lost. Everyone's frustrated because the Chiefs game, they won on the tush push alone. And the first game against Dallas, if CD doesn't drop those passes, and I know we're saying ifs and buts, I get all the Eagles fans are going to come flame me right now.
Well, and if Jalen Carter played that game, it's a different story also.
Right. So I'm giving the Eagles credit. I think they're still a fantastic team. But they so far through the first 3 weeks, and you see this sometimes with people who win the World Series, who win the Super Bowl, they come out a little flat because it's like they're waiting for playoff football, but they haven't looked like the dominant team last year that you looked at did not have a flaw. Last year's team on defense, offense, there was not really a position that you looked at where like the Eagles are weak here. I feel like the Eagles for the first 3 weeks, this is kind of a prove it game against an NFC team they could be seeing in the postseason.
Now, a Baker interception is one of my favorite bets of the week. He is going to lob something up this week.
He'll put it up there.
And it will get taken back by the Eagles. So if you're making any sort of prop bets or anything, Baker over a half interception, good money.
So that's your dog of the week?
I like Tampa in this situation. At home, Baker getting to 4-0. Like Bucky Irving has become an NFL superstar. I'm
100%.
confident saying that. He is an absolute stud, up there, top 5 running back in the NFL for me as of right now. Egbuka has become a superstar at the wide receiver position. Missing Mike Evans hurts a lot, but it hurts a little bit less knowing you got Godwin coming back, Egbuka having the starts of the season he's had.
I like the value on that pick. My underdog play of the week, not quite as, I believe that spread's 3.5. I got to check on that. I'm going Steelers plus 2.5 against the Vikings.
I think the Steelers get ran in this game.
Really, I don't see that at all. I think the Vikings, this is a way overcorrection from the betting public. Kudos to the Vikings. I mean, you destroy a Bengals team that had Jake Browning at quarterback, and you flat out destroyed them. So I'm legit giving you credit. But that defense is an abomination. The Bengals,
with the Vikings,
the Bengals.
Oh, I love the Vikings defense.
No, the Vikings defense is fantastic. The Bengals defense is terrible. I mean, that is awful. So they put up 48 points, something like that.
Something like that.
So I get it. I think we're seeing a little bit too much money coming in on them. The Steelers do have the ability to slow the game down. The defense looks like I got right last week, albeit against a Patriot team. I think Rodgers and Dublin, I think they actually come out on top there. I like the dog at Steelers plus 2.5.
Now, we kind of jokingly mentioned Alvin Kamara heading to the Chiefs, and the 858 is texting in saying, if you ever talk about AK-41 on another team, I will burn that team stadium to the ground.
Whoa.
So what is it? GEIH Field? What's the Chiefs field? It's Arrowhead Field. What is it?
GEHA Field.
GEHA Field.
It's called Arrowhead Stadium.
Right, but it's GEHA Field.
858.
Government Employee Health
Calm down,
Association.
Saints fan.
Yeah.
Alvin will look very good in a Chiefs uniform in a couple weeks, though.
Or a Niners uniform. We'll take him.
You guys need defensive end.
No, I think Alvin Kamara is going to the Chargers. You can book that. That's what I got.
But right. why would you take Hampton though to trade for Alvin Kamara?
Because you had Najee Harris, he goes down. I'd go after Alvin Kamara.
Yeah, but he doesn't give away picks
tandem.
like that.
Does that not make you already have Pacheco and Kareem Hunt?
But Pacheco has looked awful this year, and Kareem Hunt has lost a step. He's just a goal line back. If I'm the Chargers and I think I have a legit chance of this, I don't think you need a running back. You need to go get another receiver. And I know that Keenan Allen and Quinn Johnson have been good, but counting on Keenan Allen to be healthy the full year is not a good.
What if you mess up some sort of package to get Kamara and Olave from the Saints to the Chargers?
Well, as long as they give up their next 2 first-round picks, 3 first-round picks,
they might. All right. Final break of the day coming up next. We'll make some picks here ahead of the NFL weekend. Also, get you ready for Padres, Diamondbacks. That's next. San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app. Yeah, it is SDFC week here on San Diego Sports 760. And pretty cool today, it was announced they officially opened their doors to San Diego FC Academy, a groundbreaking residential program and part of the global Right to Dream community. This opening marking a significant milestone in the Right to Dream's long-term vision to develop talent within the United States and Mexico. The state-of-the-art facility is poised to become a crucial pathway for the emerging talent to become professionals and access world-class education in North America. This opening up out at Sequan. So congratulations to SDFC, the Right to Dream Academy.
Oh yeah.
Our very own Laura Kane was on the scene earlier today. So give her a follow on Instagram and News Radio 600 Kogo as well for some updates. Very cool, man. The picture is awesome. Bunch of kids smiling right outside the brand new facility. So the Right to Dream Academy open here in San Diego. Congratulations to SDFC for getting this thing off the ground. And the hope is that this turns into an absolute feeding ground for Team USA in the future,
right,
to bring us back to some dominance here.
Well, that's what's crazy is that they're this good and it's all been transfers and things like that. They haven't even had the chance to develop their own talent yet. So, I mean, just the SDFC looking like they're going to be good for years to come.
Yeah, we'll see if it happens, man. All right, text line blew up here over the last couple of minutes. 619, Sammy's hater-biased analysis of the Eagles sounds like an angry, scorned lover. The only Mahomes lover and Eagle hater worse than Sammy is Chris Collinsworth. We're not going to say how he spelled Collinsworth. Go Birds from Brian.
Brian, first off, we beat you in a Super Bowl too, so we're 1-1. It's a fact. Do you think the Eagles have looked good so far? I asked Brian.
They're 3-0. What are the Chiefs?
What did I say? You give credit for winning games. I would much rather be 3-0, not look good, but I don't think the Eagles have looked up to their potential yet.
615, Fletch, I can feel your excitement and anticipation of glory through the airwaves. Seriously, is there anything better than playing in a multi-million-dollar payout Survivor football league? Much better odds than the lottery, and I don't know about you, but I'd be equally as happy. 2 years ago, I made it to week 16.
Oh,
heartbreak.
615 is recommending we go with Miami.
We're taking Denver. That was our gut. We're going with
619 has a problem with you calling Bucky Irving a superstar. It says, does Fletch know what a superstar is?
Have you been watching the Tampa Bay Bucks? I think Bucky Irving is elevated into star status. I think Emeka Ibuka also has.
Just know that I don't find someone who loves you the same way that Ben Fletcher loves Baker Mayfield.
Dude, I love Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield's awesome. What? You don't know what I was about to say. I was about to say something I'll regret. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, when you start saying I would
take him as the
Mayfield.
Niners quarterback is what I was going to say. So get your head out of the gutter.
Oh, Lord have mercy.
All right, that's going to about do it for us. 858 trying to say the Niners should trade Christian McCaffrey. No, thank you.
Wouldn't be the worst thing in the world.
I mean, I'd have to think about it a little bit, and this season would have to really start going off the rails. Like the Niners are 3-0 right now. Things could be worse. They're just injured, and I don't see them even being a postseason team at this point, but I don't know if I'm ready to trade Christian McCaffrey.
Can America get their you-know-what together and stop embarrassing us out there in New York?
It's also crazy. Like, Rory McIlroy hasn't been good since the Masters. He's making every single putt he looks at. Scotty Scheffler is not playing well at all. We did get one more win on the board, which was good to see. So it's 3-2 Europe right now, but Europe has 2 of the 3 matchups left today in the bag right now, and Rory McIlroy is playing awesome. So it's not looking good for us, gang. We'll see how it goes. All right, John and Jim are coming up next. Aztecs football tomorrow. Me and J.R. Tolver will be on the air starting at 10:30. Early game against Northern Illinois. Come hang out with us tomorrow morning. Can't wait for it. It's San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app. John and Jim next.